Are players you link up with using weird ass stupid builds? Yeah, do you want to be able to just walk in here and ghost everything that comes across you in a matter of seconds? I mean, look at how fast we kill these guys. And then, at the best part, you want some weapon damage to boot? Okay, watch this. We can actually take out his backpack with ease. We're not even max stack right now. Then we can kill all those other NPCs to where it's just the big guys left. Now, you also still need to play this with a little bit of caution. Now, I don't play with a lot of caution because I want to get these kills. I want to clear this stuff as fast as possible. So I take out their backpacks. Now they don't have the bleed hives. But, as a lot of people know, the mortars don't do a whole lot to chungas. So that's why we had to revamp this mortar build. We had to try to get some extra damage out. So we got the weapon damage to boot now. And the best part is, look at that. Almost 10 million with just a sticky bomb. We can stagger them. We can toss out a mortar and stagger them. Or we can use out our assault rifle. Actually get some decent crits. As you can see, we're not even max stack. We're hitting for almost 400k right now. And we can solo a good chonga by ourselves. Look at that. The other dude, he's using that bullshit ass build I showed you at the beginning. And he's not even really doing a whole lot of damage. He's using a pistol and a deflector shield. And we're over here just killing it. Now, once you get this thing to max stacks, oh, it's going to be so much easier. But that's the whole thing. Always with the memento. Now, it does have a few flaws. Dogs can EMP jammer this stuff, but you can easily pick it back up and stop the jammer effect. So let's go into the build. So this build right here, it's basically kind of like a hybrid. It's going to give you the damage to kill multiple enemies at one time, and the gun damage to boot, and survivability at the same time. So, what kind of build is this? It's very simple. It's a mortar build. But, it's not this mortar build, as you've seen in my codex. While this one here has a bunch of yellows everywhere else. It's got skill haste and everything. And it actually has the highest damage for the mortar, just because of the backpack talent and the holster, which can give it the most damage. It's not always the best. Now, I've strived to try to always give you guys the best out of this type of build, or any build like this right here. And I went ahead and I went to reconstruct this entire thing, because while the contractors does give the damage to armor to the mortar, this does not help out against the chongas. And this is where this build has always fallen down, where mortars don't help out against chongas because they're not damaged to armor. So we had to devise a way to give your weapon or something else more damage, so that way you personally could have damage against like multiple targets like this and slap them down. You know, just ease everything. Just walk up, kill a bunch of them. You don't have to worry about stacking anything. Just getting the damage out as fast as possible and as much damage as possible. Now, as you can see, like right here, we have a tank guy, Chonga, walking right up on us. Most people freak out in these types of situations. As you see right here, I noticed that the explosive sticky does damage their armor a lot more. So I was like, okay, we got to test this out. So when I put this together, you can see I got even more damage, a lot more crits, a lot of more orange bullets, as you can see right there, a lot more. And that's this build. In a few shots, I waste the chonga. So rather than using this build right here, I devised one that would give you the weapon damage and the skill damage to boot. Now, I want y'all to notice first, before I go into the build, the damage from the mortar turret. It's coming from this waveform. Now, if I swap out, say, the waveform to just something else, give it like some skill health, right here, notice that the damage goes completely down to almost 3.9. right? I go back, it's still 3.9 because the waveform isn't stacking into the mortar yet. So that's where we would always get messed up numbers, messed up data, because the waveform would not show that properly. So the best one you'd have would be 1-piece Wyvern, 2-piece Grupo, 1-piece China, Petrov gloves, and that would eventually give this thing, as you can see, it's gone up to 4.2. 4.2 something, I say 4.29 in damage right here, just for the stats. And that's the highest you could ever get this turret to actually hit. Well, I actually found another way to get more damage out of that. Check this out. So as you can see, the build I devised gave me 4.35. I pushed out a little bit more damage, and I found out how. So this build right here, this one is not the one. This is the all yellow one. What I'm trying to also show you is that if we were to, say, waste a bunch of these shots right here, the cooldown is actually for how many shots you have back. It also gives you back about every 10 seconds for 10 rounds, so that's 1 per second. So that's something that we also have to remember and keep in mind, is that when we use this thing, well, sometimes you got to be careful of how you do this, but like this, for each shot you waste is 1 second. This is with an all yellow skill haste and everything. We want to also bring the skill haste on this build down, because if we use weapon damage, we're going to lose out on this skill haste to get mortars out, and that's not a good thing. So we want to be able to bring that down as well, to where we're back to 1 per each second, right? Because you want to be able to get those mortars out and do as much damage as possible. Now, if you can see, this is a different build. Look at my armor. You can tell that this is a different build, as well as look at my backpack. I have the memento on. So this is a different build. I'm not going to show you the build just yet. I want you guys to pay attention to what I'm saying and what I'm doing on this right here as much as possible. As you can see, right here, I'm probably going to use about 5 shots. And we're going to pick up the turret, so that way we can see what the cooldown rate is, right? Just for 5 shots. Actually, you know what? I'm going to go all the way back to 1 shot left and pick it up. We're at 15 seconds. That's too much. For 9 shots at 15 seconds, we got to bring that down. Well, if I stack out the memento, which I haven't done, it should cool it down to that time, right? Okay. So, let's go get some memento stacks. And we got memento stacks. So here we go. Let's shoot 5 rounds. Let's see if we can get that to 5 seconds, right? 5 rounds, 5 seconds. Oh, we got 7, maybe 6 seconds. Yep, we're back to where we need to be. So we get the cooldown and the damage now. So, how do we get this type of damage out if we're using the memento? Well, that's kind of easy, because the memento gives us 30%, right? So, here it is. Here's the build. We have a piece of China. We have 2-piece Grupo, 1-piece Wyvern, and we have Contractor's gloves. Now, the memento backpack is going to give us 30% skill efficiency, which is 30% skill damage. And as you can see right here, though the damage numbers are not set, that's because for some reason this shooting range does not show it. It's not showing everything that's on this build. For some reason, it's kind of glitched out. But in comparison to this backpack, we have 20% skill damage when we do the status effect, plus a skill damage mod, that's 30%. The memento gives you 30% right there if you get all the tags. So it's equaled out in damage right here. Now, some people would probably say, well, no, it's not. Actually, yes, it's pretty close. Now, is this going to get you the close to like 10.8 million in damage, which you could see off a mortar turret? Oh yeah, don't worry, I got those numbers towards the very end. You'll see them actually in combat. But as you can see, this build right here, it's still just as good. It's going to give you the survivability, and it's going to give you the weapon damage, because we have crit chance and critical hit damage everywhere else. So where we trade certain things, we get crit chance, and where we have critical hit damage, we just even them out just like we did before. Now, let's go ahead and just slap some targets down. 8 point something million right there. Boom. Let's get our capacitor stacks. Ooh, look at that. Oh yeah. There's one with armor. Oh yeah. Did y'all see those numbers? Yep. There we go. Maxed out capacitor. Definitely strong. Now, while this build does have a few drawbacks, especially against dogs where they can EMP and shut you down, you can still pick up your mortar, and while the time it would come back from the EMP, you could actually get those mortars back. So never toss your mortar out, put it right beside you to get those cooldowns even faster, because you can pick it back up, get yourself from EMP status, and put more mortars down. Now also, the other part to this is these numbers in this range are actually going all over the place. They're going higher, lower, and everything, so we have to do this against actual targets. So let's go take it to a actual named target. We got some named targets out here. Let's see how fast we can kill these guys. You can see we're hitting some pretty good numbers. Almost, I'd say 5.6 mil per shot. This is before I've stacked out the capacitor, but we've got the memento stacks, which is actually decent. Now we've got bullet damage as well. Almost 5, I'd say, was it 405 or something like that? Sometimes close to 4, 5, 6 per bullet. And again, here's a named target. Let's see how it does against him, because these guys are a lot stronger. We have 0 stacks. We hit for 5.4 something right there. Let's get some memento stacks and slowly stack it out and see what we get about halfway. 20 shots. I think that was about 20. Oh, it's going up. Alright, let's bring it all the way up. Let's bring it to 40. Let's get him out, and let's see what it does against him. And you see, we also got bullet damage. So we're hitting for about 407 right now, right? Because we have a lot of damage to armor. 707, I believe. Right there. But the cool part is about this, like I said, you can stagger the chungas. And there, we just hit a 10 mil, ladies and gentlemen. And look, his armor's already cracked. So we have the damage and the stagger effect for this to be able to kill these chungas. Yeah,